Religious hate in Pakistan. A bomb attack on Shia Muslims in Balochistan province kills more than 80 people. It's the second major attack this year. Shia leaders say security forces are not doing enough to protect them. This is Inside Story. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. Welcome to the programme. A bomb containing almost a tonne of explosives has torn through a crowded market in southwestern Balochistan province. More than 80 people were killed in the largely Shia neighbourhood in Quetta and almost 200 injured. A bomb attack in the provincial capital last month killed at least 92 people. The banned Sunni group Lashkar-e-Jhangvi says it carried out both of them. Shia community leaders claim the Pakistani government is unable or unwilling to take on those responsible. Imtiaz Taib is following developments for Inside Story from the capital, Islamabad.
Security forces have been telling Al Jazeera a bit more about this particularly deadly bombing. What we understand is that a tractor trailer carrying a water tanker was packed with between 800 and 1,000 kilograms of explosives. So powerful was the blast. A two-story shopping plaza collapsed because of the force of it, and a crater of between 3 and 4 meters have been left behind. Now, this attack, of course, follows a similar attack not 5 weeks ago against this very community in this very city. In that attack, which has been described as Pakistan's worst ever sectarian assault, more than 90 people were killed. Now, the group Lashkar-e-Jhangvi claimed responsibility for that January strike and have also claimed responsibility for Saturday evening's attack. Now, the government has vowed to go after these groups. Security is extremely tight in Balochistan, and yet here we are again only a few weeks later, and yet another deadly attack against this group, with many people saying that the government is either unable or unwilling to go after those responsible. I'm Imtiaz Taib for Inside Story.
Let's talk more about this tragic event with our guests in Karachi. Abdul Khalique Hazara, chairman of the Hazara Democratic Party, representing Shia Muslims in Pakistan. From our studios in Washington, D.C., Stephen Cohen, Senior Fellow in Foreign Policy Studies at the Brookings Institution, and in Islamabad, Zaid Hamid, political analyst and head of the Pakistani think tank Brasstacks. Gentlemen, welcome all three of you. Mr. Hazara, can you update us on what is happening where you are? Is everybody accounted for? Have you learnt any more?
You see, I think, in 2 months, I think the two very major attacks, some sort of terrorism that you have never seen in the history of Pakistan, particularly this time, whatever happened, 1,000 kilogram explosive, which was used, I think, in Quetta on the community of Hazara community. You can never, I think, you have never seen, I think, in the history of Pakistan. So it is going on, and the government does not care of that thing, and they're not interested in solving these all problems. They have never tried a serious, they have never taken any serious steps against these terrorists. They are just only slaughtering the people. They are doing each and every kind of terrorism is going on. Target shootings of Hazara community are going on. More than 1,100 or 1,200 people of Hazaras, innocent Hazaras, have been killed.
The group behind these attacks, Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, it was founded in the late 1990s, banned in Pakistan in 2001, and designated a terrorist group by the US in 2003. It's known to have ties to other networks such as the Pakistan and Afghan Taliban, and it's been linked to major attacks such as the 2007 assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. Now, the Balochistan Home Secretary has just spoken to Al Jazeera, and he denied that he had any responsibility for the security of the people living there. He said that everybody in the community has to take responsibility for what's going on. Do you agree with that?
No, one thing else, I think you cannot see it. Media is there, I think every media is there. On the ground, you cannot see anything. So that's why I say this thing. This is not only that the government, if take interest, so I think automatically they will do these all things. And there is another thing, so I think they are trying intentionally in Quetta district, so I think they are trying to promote religious extremism. So for that thing, I think they are provoking our community also to be involved, or they are going to drag us into the fetid mire of sectarianism. But our people, they are very peaceful people. We just only demand, this is my right, this is a human being right. We want, I think, security, nothing else. We are peace-loving people. We are education-oriented people. We just only believe in humanity. That's why I say this thing, that there is sectarianism is going on, and some elements are there, foreign elements are there, some foreign countries are there, that they are playing their proxy war here. But our government, they are giving them means a very safe place to them. They have provided them what I say, a very safe ground for their proxy war. And the Hazara community is
possibly
going to
easy
be
targets. You're covering so many points there. Let me just stop you for a moment and bring in Mr. Hamid. What are you making of this attack, the way it was conducted, and the possible aim of it?
You see, you need to see the larger perspective of what's happening in Pakistan right now. Pakistan is under active insurgencies right now, at least in 2 neighboring provinces which are bordering Afghanistan. The insurgency in the northwestern frontier province have already claimed 100,000 men in dead and wounded. And Pakistan army has lost over 10,000 men. So that's an active insurgency which is based in Afghanistan, is being funded, supported, weaponized and armed from Afghanistan, and Pakistan army is fighting against it. And that TTP-led insurgency is one axis of it. The other largest province of Pakistan, Balochistan, is also under active insurgency, which is primarily led by 2 insurgent groups. One is TTP, and other is a quasi-Marxist Balochistan Liberation Army. And both of them are based in Afghanistan. And let me tell you a fact, that in the last 5 years, over 100,000 families of non-Baluchis, of Punjabis, of Pashtuns, of other Sindhis, people who were settled in Balochistan, have been forced to migrate in an ethnic cleansing process from the province of Balochistan back to their own native provinces. And BLA is conducting this massive war of ethnic cleansing. And majority of these 100,000 families, almost 1 million people, are Sunnis. They're not Shias. The Shias community, which is in Quetta, is no doubt a peaceful community. They are patriotic Pakistanis. And they are being targeted by Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, which is an Axis, a militant arm of the same militant group, TTP, which is waging an insurgency in northwestern frontier province. And both BLA and TTP are based in Afghanistan. Pakistan army, Pakistan government, intelligence agencies have absolutely no doubt about this. This has been a reason of major friction between the ISI and CIA for CIA's support to the insurgent groups in Pakistan, or allowing them to live and be based in Afghanistan. CIA has been waging a drone war against Pakistan. That's been a major cause of friction between the 2 countries. The American NATO forces attacked the Pakistan army post on Bajor, after which Pakistan blocked the NATO supplies for 8 months. And Pakistan Army's Director General Military Operations is on record saying that Americans attacked the army post to give passage, give access to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP. So whatever is happening in Quetta right now...
Stephen Cohen here. What do you make of that analysis? An incredible amount of players happening there, so many with so many different agendas.
Well, I think the reality is that we've had several policies towards Pakistan, as we've had several policies towards Afghanistan. But I think that recent developments, or developments that are just taking place now, are going to shift our policy somewhat. I think that we've never had a South Asia policy. We've had a Pakistan policy that was steered by our Afghan policy. I think we're coming back to a point where we may have a Pakistan policy, a coherent Pakistan policy. No Americans were attacked in Quetta, but clearly we have a vital interest in the stability of Pakistan as such. So I think that that's one development. The other development really is in a sense, the concern that we have about the success of the Pakistan army in fighting this insurgency. And clearly the army's up to its neck in fighting radicals in Pakistan.
Would you think they want to? I mean, according to Human Rights Watch, I mean, they're saying that the Pakistani military is supporting Sunni groups. They're saying that the Shia community members continue to be slaughtered in cold blood. This is a quote. The callousness and indifference of authorities offers a damning indictment of the state, its military and security agencies. 2012 was the bloodiest year for Pakistan's Shia community in living memory. And if this latest attack is any indication, 2013 has started on an even more dismal note.
The dilemma for Amnesty International and for others is we cannot decide whether Pakistan is unwilling or unable to stop these groups. If they're unwilling, that's a question of complicity. If they're unable, that's a more serious matter, that the Pakistani military and the state of Pakistan are unable to defend the integrity of their own country. And I think given Pakistan's nuclear capability, its larger status in the world, that's a very important issue for the United States as well as for India and even for China.
Many people in the Shia community in Quetta are ethnic Hazaras. Some of their ancestors migrated from Afghanistan to Pakistan and Iran over 100 years ago. More than 650,000 now live in Pakistan, mainly in Balochistan's capital. The Hazara Organization for Peace and Equality says more than 1,000 Hazaras have been killed in Pakistan since 1999. But in 15 years, they say no one has been brought to justice. Mr. Hazara, why do you think that you are not important, it seems, for the military to try and put a stop to the violence there? Do you think they have bigger fish to catch, bigger battles to fight?
As I mentioned this thing, ma'am, that we are very, all of us, we belong to only one sect. But we are, as I mentioned, we are very liberal people. We are not concerned to the problem of anyone. As I mentioned, I just only one point I want to raise here, that we should not compare Quetta to Karachi or Quetta to Punjab. Punjab province, I think 100 million people are living there. The best of these sectarian elements, they live in Punjab. So, but in Punjab, these kind of incidents is not going on. There is no confrontation, there is no differences, there is calm, peace, each and everything is there. In Karachi, I think 20 million people are there. But in Quetta, as I mentioned, it is a very small, that one. There is, as I said, there is not the will of the government. As I think from last 40 days, there is deployed, FC is deployed there, governor rule is there, I think. They have not showed any satisfactory action, they have not taken against them, so that the people could breathe. I think the people should become satisfied or something else. That's why definitely there is uncertainty. People of our community, they cannot go to their colleges, universities. Today, even 5% of our education ratio has not been remained here. Our property has been, I think we cannot run these all things. People prefer to migrate from Quetta, Pakistan to abroad for just only for their security. That's why I say this thing, that if the government try their level best, if the government even try it, so then automatically I think they can crush them. How we should not just only take this or turn this issue towards, I think, some other issues. I know this one, as I mentioned this thing, that there are some Muslim countries are there, that they are playing their proxy war here, and we have become scapegoat of them. But my question is that our government should be serious. They should not allow them to just only, that their land should be used for the benefits of the abroad countries for some other people.
Let me just bring in Harvey and talk about a security issue there. If a proxy war is indeed being fought over Pakistan, and we've had this going on for years and years and years, Islamabad claims that the Baloch resistance is supported by India. Is there any truth in that?
Yes, there's no doubt about this. There's absolutely no doubt about this, that the insurgency in Balochistan is based in Afghanistan, but is supported by both the Indians as well as the foreign Western secret services. Pakistan's corrupt, incompetent interior minister was also forced to say these things. Pakistan army strongly believes it. The security think tanks and defense establishment have caught so many times the family of the late Nawab Akbar Bukti bringing in weapons from Afghanistan. And they have openly acknowledged their contact with the US embassy and the Indians in Delhi. Now, let me make one more point also about the sectarian axis, about killing the Shias, because the fallout of this killing of Shias is that relations between Pakistan and Iran are very strained, are very hurt, damaged. And that is why now when Pakistan and Iran are cozying up together on multiple mega projects like Iran-Pakistan gas line, drawing up of Pakistan buying energy and electricity from Iran and building up of Istanbul, Tehran and Islamabad railway lines, under these circumstances also, their Pakistani security establishment and think tanks feel that the countries which are not happy with Pakistan getting closer to Iran are actually involved in igniting these sectarian wars.
What do you think of that, Mr. Cohen? Do you agree?
It
looked like you were disagreeing with some points there.
Yes, I think it's irresponsible to make these kinds of allegations without evidence. In fact, it's in India's interest, it's in America's interest, it's in Iran's interest to work with Pakistan to normalize Pakistan. And I would begin, as I've argued in a forthcoming book, that we should cooperate in Afghanistan to stabilize Afghanistan as the Americans pull out and as ISAF pulls out. To allege that the Americans and the Indians are behind Balochistan, there's simply no evidence that I've seen to substantiate this. It's in India's long-term interest to actually have a stable and normal Pakistan, not a broken up Pakistan.
What have the ramifications been of the most recent standoff between India and Pakistan over the border with between the two countries, the line of control?
I think that it's a typical example of a crisis that's whipped up, and we're going to see more of these in the future. But the fact that the two countries deter each other through nuclear weapons, that there's no interest in a larger conflict, I think dampens down these conflicts. But clearly we need a regional approach to these issues, one that deals with Kashmir, with Afghanistan, with water, and also promotes rail and gas and other communications between all the South Asian states. And I agree that there should be a pipeline from Iran to India through Pakistan and Afghanistan. To some degree, the Americans have opposed that. I think that's wrong. The book I'm just publishing now makes an argument for a regional approach to South Asia, which would build on the shared interest of India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan in normalization. And I would include Iran in that also, where Iran has an interest in a stable South Asia, not a destabilized South Asia.
As for other countries, how is Pakistan being viewed at the moment? I mean, you can't say that Pakistan is stable in any way, can you? I mean, you've got the elections coming.
Well, in Washington, we have we've had several policies towards Pakistan, and I think you could break it down. I've done this with Bruce Rydell, a colleague of mine at Brookings. Different agencies and different entities have different approaches towards Pakistan, but I think we're moving hopefully towards a more integrated policy towards the stability of Pakistan. You remember that when Kerry was a senator, the Kerry-Lugar bill actually was a pro-Pakistan bill to stabilize and normalize Pakistan. Now that he's Secretary of State, I would hope that some of those policies would be implemented, because we have a long-term interest in Pakistan's stability. And whether we've been attacking Pakistan with drones or not, we certainly have been doing that, but I think to the degree that's been destabilizing Pakistan, that's been a bad policy. To the degree it's attacked groups which are attacking Pakistani officials in government, that's been a good policy.
Now, Balochistan, I mean, we certainly touched on it, but it is Pakistan's largest province by area. It is about the size of France and bordered by Afghanistan and Iran, but it is the smallest in terms of population, estimated at a little under 8 million. The province has vast reserves of oil and gas, gold, copper and uranium, and that's contributing to a separatist rebellion. Nationalist groups are demanding political autonomy and a greater share of profits from the region's resources. And they're joining forces to take on Pakistan's military. Mr. Hazara, how does this succession desire play out alongside what's happening at the moment?
Ma'am, the problem is this one. I think we always blame on the other things. We never think of our own, I think, weakness. So there is definitely weaknesses are there. So just only my brother was saying about this thing. I will just only on 20th September 2011, when 26 people of Hazaras, they were taken out of the bus and they were identified. After identification, they were shot dead. So after that, the statement of, just only imagine, just only consider and analyze the statement of Chief Executive of Balochistan. When he was asked about this question, he told that I will send a truckload of tissues for Hazara community to wipe out their tears. Now imagine this one. Why should I blame to the other people when there is my own weaknesses is there? After killing of 1,100 people, Thousands of the people now are youngsters. I think they are crippled, they are handicapped, they cannot move. So after that thing, why even a single person has not been arrested? Even a single person has not been convicted so far for carrying out these all killings. So this is definitely what I say, this thing, that there is not the will of the government is not there. We are going to blame some other people. Definitely some of my brother, there some points are maybe true. But what about our insurgency? It is not insurgency. In Quetta district, there is no some sort of this insurgency. There is no confrontation between Hazara and Pashtun, Hazara and Baloch, Hazara and settlers or something else. There is definitely some elements are there that they are not interested to solve the problem of these problem. Our demand is only simple, according to Constitution, that just only if FCs failed, if law enforcement agencies are failed, they are definitely failed. So just only under the supervision of army, we need only targeted operation. As I mentioned, Quetta is a very small city. Only in 3 days or 5 days or 7 days. Army,
okay, I just want to ask Mr. Hamid very quickly about how this highly strategic, if I can call it, real estate is going to play out in the upcoming elections. I mean, who's going to be benefiting from this?
Let me give you some statistics on ground. As you said, Balochistan has got about 8 million population. Out of this 8 million, almost 5 million are Pashtuns, and those non-Baluchis who are settlers from other provinces. And out of those 4 million Baluchis that are left behind, 90% are pro-Pakistan patriots. So the insurgents are in the entire province, which is almost 42% of Pakistan in area, are not more than 5,000 fighting men. So we are talking of ridiculously low figures here of militants and insurgents, but who are, because of the vast territory, because of the total collapse of the judicial system and the government, they are able to operate, and they are drawing their resources and weapons from Afghanistan. The entire Balochistan is considered as a B area in a legal language, which means there is no police there. Police is only in 5% of Balochistan or in the major urban cities. The rest of the countryside is not manned by any force. And it is the judicial collapse, it is the governmental collapse which is causing the insurgency to flourish. The patriotic Baloch are in majority and they are supporting the government and the army.
I mean, Mr. Cohen, briefly, if you will, do you think that the threat now to the democratic process is real? And is Balochistan just a small part of a bigger picture of the country? Mr. Cohen?
Are you talking to me? I'm sorry. Oh, yes. I don't want to get into the details of the Baloch insurgency. I think it's changed its nature over the years. It's no longer led by tribal leaders. It's become a middle-class insurgency. And there are grievances. Whether those grievances should be resolved by force or violence, I have my grave doubts. But clearly, the Pakistan government has lost its integrity all over Pakistan, especially in places like Balochistan and KP and the tribal areas. And it's from an American point of view, it's in our interest, I think, that the Pakistan government develop its coherence. And that includes a normal relationship between the military and civilian politicians. So I think the election is important in that it will presumably rejuvenate and revive the political process and enhance the politicians' role in in governance. But of course, from a military point of view, I agree with the Pakistan Army's critics, that being governed by incompetent politicians is not good either. I don't see the military in a dilemma where the elections have not produced great leadership, but I think it's better leadership than they've had in the past. Yet the military itself is reluctant to intervene and to act directly because A, they know it would be unpopular, and B, they're not sure if they can govern. So Pakistan is a country rich in dilemmas and rich in problems. From an American point of view, I'd say that it's important that Pakistan normalize its relationship internally and also with its major neighbors. As we pull out of Afghanistan, we're especially concerned about Pakistan-Afghanistan relationship. And we don't want to see a civil war break out there. We don't want to see it spill over into Pakistan.
And as you can imagine, we've had strong response to the story on Facebook. Thomas Jones says, when you make your religion your politics and your religious leaders your political leaders, you get political leaders manipulating your religion. But Pocketer says it's destructive. No sect is safe here, neither Shia nor Sunni. It's a game being played by external or internal powers. Hanif Zerak says this is genocide against Hazaras in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Ali Nagara claims in Pakistan there is no division between Shia and Sunni Muslims. They are united against these killings, but a particular group with terror ideology is trying to create divisions within Pakistan. Okay, certainly eliciting a passionate response across the country and on our Facebook page as well. And thank you very much to our guests. In Karachi, Abdul Khalique Hazara; from Washington, D.C., Stephen Cohen; and from Islamabad, Zaid Hamid. And thank you, as always, for joining us in this edition of Inside Story. If you want to send us your feedback, just email your thoughts to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.